Bring in the man, the myth, the legend himself, Kevon Looney. Congratulations on the win, first of all. That's 3D over there. He'll be asking you questions, too. We're excited to have you on. But first of all, 320 rebound games. How were you able to be so efficient on the glass throughout this entire series?
That's just my job out there. We had all the games that we lost, we kind of got beat up on the glass. And as the big man, I kind of, that's my role to kind of control that and set the tone with physicality and off the rebound and getting extra possessions. And, I was able to get a lot of extra boards tonight and set the tone. And we was able to help get the win.
Yeah, Loon, speaking of setting that tone, people don't understand that when you guys buy into your role and do what you do, you're still a championship team. Can you elaborate a little bit more how you enjoy doing the dirty work for this team while Steph and Clay, they do a lot of the shooting?
Definitely, that's what makes our team special. Everybody, accept their role. We got some of the best shooters in the world ever on our team, so everybody can't be out there shooting threes and doing different things. But for me, it's rebounding, setting screens, getting them guys open. For Draymond, is screening and passing. Wig's got to be a two-way defender, and we all accept our role. That's what makes our team good. And when everything's clicking on cylinders like tonight, we're really tough to beat.
And we know experience is a big part of the playoffs, but how different was it to see Mike Brown, who you just won a championship with last year and you had to go against him? How different was that as a coach, playing against the coach?
It was different because that Mike Brown knows everything that we're doing. He knows our schemes. He knows what our adjustments are going to be. So it makes the challenge much more fun. It was a chess match each game. Each game was an adjustment, and it was a lot of fun playing against him. He's won Coach of the Year for a reason. I got to learn a lot from Mike Brown, and it was even more fun beating him.
When you're playing alongside a guy like Steph Curry, 50 points is the most ever points in NBA history scored in a Game 7. I know that you're looking for those rebounds, but is it just fun to watch him sometimes when he's making some of these big shots?
Definitely. Once you think he can't go get any better or set any more records, he comes to do something like tonight where he scores 50 in a Game 7. He continues to get better. He's been a great leader for us. When he comes out to start the game like that and he sets the tone that we're not going to lose, he raises everybody's level of play. It's fun to watch him put on a show. Performances like this is something that you always going to remember for the rest of your life.
And speaking of that, Loon, can you take our fans through what the preparation was for Game 7 and why you guys played with so much confidence and you knew you'd win this game tonight on the road?
After having such a huge letdown at home in Game 6, I think everybody was kind of mad about how we came out there and performed, the level of focus that we played with. We knew that was unacceptable, and we knew we were better than that. I think we took that personal and came out Game 7, and we executed the game plan to a T. We had on like 7 turnovers. We won on the glass. That was some of the points that we've been talking about all series, and we came out here and executed, and we knew we had what it took to win. We knew we had the talent to win. We just had to go out there and play with the mental focus, and we did that tonight.
Hey, real quick, Loon, I hate to do it to you, but the Lakers are right around the corner, and now you have AD, and he's been playing great defense in the paint. Give me a little bit what you think about playing against AD.
It's going to be a lot of fun. It's a little bit different than playing against Sabonis. Sabonis is more of a power finisher and screener and passer like that, but AD's using more of his quickness and athleticism. He's blocking a lot of shots, so it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a different type of matchup. They had a couple days of rest, and it's going to be a great matchup to play against them, and I'm just looking forward to it.
We're looking forward to it, too. Kevon, really appreciate your time. Congrats on the series win. We'll see you against the Lakers.
All right, thank you.
Keep it up, big fella.
Keep it up. Love it. 21 rebounds for Kevon Looney. Let's send it back out to Sacramento. Hear from Warriors head coach Steve Kerr.
Before I take questions, I want to say congrats to Sacramento, to Mike and his staff and his team. They were incredible. Had an amazing season, and this was a fantastic series. I mean, just great basketball for 7 games. They've had, frankly, a much better season than we have. We've been kind of up and down all year, as you know, and they put together a whole season where they just, the young talent, the coaching, it was impressive to watch and really difficult to play against. So congrats to the Kings. We are thrilled to move on, and there's a lot to discuss. I think the first two things that come to mind are Steph Curry having 50 points in a Game 7, never been done before, incredible. And Kevon Looney just keeps doing it every game. 21 boards tonight, 10 offensive. I thought he controlled much of the game with his offensive boards. I think Loon is one of the best centers in the league. I really do. And people don't recognize it because he's not dunking and shooting threes and all that stuff. But this guy is a flat-out winner, and he's a machine. And we wouldn't be here without him. So with that, I'll take questions.
Steve, were you drawing up stuff to get Steph the ball, to Steph open, to get Steph shots, or was that just Steph finding it?
So the biggest factor offensively tonight was our spacing. And in Game 6, our spacing was a disaster. And the whole focus yesterday was looking at film, seeing why there was nowhere to go. And we were just cluttered. So I thought today we spread the floor really well. The guys were really disciplined, and that gave Steph more room, but he's the one who went out and made the plays. So we just were smart. 7 turnovers for the game, 25 assists. We just made simple plays over and over again. And we talk about it all the time. We usually don't do it, but today we did it. And that's what we had to do to win this series.
Steve, a lot of people talk about championship DNA, and sometimes that talk kind of elicits rolls of the eyes and, like, oh, is there really such a thing? Did we just see that?
No doubt, no doubt. Game 7, Game 7s are difficult. You saw how many free throws were missed, by both teams. These guys are all human, and everybody's nervous, and so there's a need to have experience in Game 7s, and our guys have that, our core guys. And I think what it takes is just taking the game possession by possession, which our guys did beautifully tonight, not thinking about the outcome, just thinking about the process, and repeating and repeating and repeating and breathing during the timeouts and staying locked in and staying focused. And our guys did that. But they've learned to do that through a decade of, these type of games. So the most impressive thing to me with Steph, Clay, Draymond, Loon, Andre, to do this for a decade, it's incredible. The energy that it takes to fight off challengers year after year, and to have to prepare and win big games, and doing it over and over again. It's a reason these guys are Hall of Famers and champions. This is not a 1-year flash in the pan. This is a decade that they've done it, and it's incredible to watch.
Steve, a couple times you were caught on TV talking to Steph on the sidelines. Can you tell us a little bit about what you were saying to him? And also, you've seen him a lot, so does he ever surprise you, what he does?
He doesn't surprise me. We all take him for granted because he's brilliant night after night, and we've been watching this for 10 years. And we just, you just have to remind yourself every once in a while, big picture. This is one of the great players in the history of the game. But that's how I felt, back when in my playing days, with Michael Jordan. You'd see it night after night, so you just took it for granted. So that's how it is with Steph. It's over and over and over again. And the resilience and the work that goes into that, and the focus, it's incredible to watch. I guess we were just taking a lot of timeouts. You asked about what our discussions were. It was just about getting rest. I mean, we took a few timeouts during the game just to get him a chance to breathe, and our other guys. All I remember saying to him and the group was just, focus on the next possession, and don't worry about results. Just keep, doing all the things we've talked about all series long. Rebounding, taking care of the ball, possession after possession. And if tonight was the best game plan discipline that we've had all year for sure, and one of the great games that I can remember since I've been here in terms of being that locked in for 48 minutes, and that's what it took.
Tony Harvey, NBC Sports Radio. Coach Kerr, the other night, that 11:30 regular season on the road record, that's distant memory. You done won the last 2 straight in this building on the road. Did it kind of like justify, what you meant the other night when you won here, that this is what your team looked like, when they're all together and they're all healthy?
Yeah, but the other night, that's what our team looks like sometimes too, in Game 6. And it's not easy to do this, to have a performance like this. You can't do that every night. So there are going to be letdowns. And the other night, we played poorly, and Sacramento was great, and that's why we had to come in here and do what we just did today. But that's what the playoffs are about. You have to be able to bounce back and respond and win on the road, and our guys have been doing that for a long time.
Coach, over here, you said pregame you're going to have some adjustments that you weren't going to share with us. Can you elucidate those a little bit now and the thought process behind some of those?
Not really, because we play the Lakers in 48 hours, and I don't really want to say anything. I think the one thing I'll mention is just what I said before. Our spacing was just dramatically better tonight, and because we were so bunched together the other night, we just couldn't execute, and we turned it over. And so, given that the spacing was better, we were able to execute offensively, and that I thought our offense really helped our defense tonight. We gave up 5 points off 7 turnovers. The other night it was like 19 turnovers for 23, 24 points. That's the game right there. And along with the rebounding, we had 18 offensive boards. So, this has been a possession series. Whichever team has controlled possessions has generally won. So I thought that was the key tonight.
I normally wait the day to ask you, but you mentioned it right there at the Lakers Tuesday night. Early thoughts on the series and the fact that it is coming so quickly. There's, I think, only one day off between every game.
Well, we're excited just to have the opportunity. I think the Lakers changed their team dramatically at the trade deadline. They made some brilliant moves and became an entirely different team. And Darvin has done an incredible job guiding that team. They're excellent defensively. We know they've got, one of the all-time greats in LeBron, but a lot of talent across the roster. So it's going to take a big effort to beat them. We know how good they are.
Coach here, Ruth for Hispanic Sports Media. This team has prevailed through a lot of adversity this series. How proud are you of your guys and the resilience that they showed this series?
Yeah, incredibly proud. And I think resilience shows in a lot of different ways. People aren't going to talk about Clay because he shot 4 for 19 today, but his defense was amazing. And I don't know, to be able to play that kind of defense in the midst of a bad shooting night, that's not easy to do. But Clay is such a gamer, such a competitor. I'm as proud of him as anybody. We're going to talk about Steph and Loon because of their brilliant individual performances, but how you play when things aren't going your way really defines you as a player. And I think tonight, Clay was, he showed why he's such a great two-way player and why he's a champion. 4 for 19, and he's a plus 30, highest plus minus on the team. His defense was incredible.
Coach Kerr, Kings Digital right here. First of all, congratulations on advancing to the next round. I know you already touched about this at the beginning, but wanted to hear your thoughts on the Kings team and what is the future looking like for this young group of guys moving forward?
Yeah, well, they have a really fun team, a beautiful offense. They did a great job of, putting a system in place that maximized their talent. And, it was beautiful to watch them play this year. And they got a lot of young guys and great coach. And, they've made really good decisions organizationally. So they have a very bright future, and we have a lot of respect for them.
Steve, as you know, in the home road splits this year, your defense was the biggest sort of factor. Right?
Yeah.
The points given up, the percentages. You only allowed 42 points tonight in the second half.
Yeah.
I don't think they scored in the first 4
Right.
minutes of the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
How much of that was just the urgency and desperation of Game 7? How much is it something Draymond was doing? How much, you mentioned Clay. What sort of sparked that?
Well, you can eliminate the 41 road games we played in the regular season because we're a different team now. You know, we're whole. We have Gary Payton back on the roster. We have Wiggins back in the mix. And we've talked about this, but this group has been together for 10 years, so it's not easy to get up for game after game after game. So we had a lot of struggles this year for a lot of reasons, but we're whole now, and this is an excellent defensive team, and it's an excellent road team. So forget all the other stuff that happened earlier.
Steve, back here. Chris Biederman, Sacramento Bee. Kings fans take a lot of pride. Kings fans take a lot of pride in creating one of the most hostile environments in the NBA. Just what's it say about Steph to have that performance in that environment? And what's it kind of take from a star of his caliber to do it against?
I think Steph thrives, and Draymond, Clay. I think those guys thrive in tough environments, and there's really nothing. There's no better feeling in the NBA than getting a win on the road in the playoffs. It's the ultimate. And these guys, once we got over the disappointment of losing Game 6, I think the focus shifted towards the opportunity, and this is what these guys do. And again, for Steph to be the first player ever to get 50 in a Game 7, he's sublime.
Hi, Steve. Just a quick question about your history with LeBron. I know he's on a different team now than when you used to face him with the Cavaliers, but does any of that history that you've had with him personally factor into how you approach this series and what the sort of institutional knowledge, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, we've played each other so many times over the years in the playoffs. You know, one of the first things I learned about LeBron the first time we played them in the finals was just how smart he was. You know, like coming out of timeouts, he knew what we were doing. You know, and so you take that into account. You have to recognize, you know, just what a brilliant mind he has, and not just the physical talent. And he knows our team, although I think this team is very different than the teams back then, you know, 15 through 18 when we played each other in the finals. But we do have some of the same tendencies, and he'll recognize some of those things. But we're, you know, we're not quite the same team, and we're doing some different things. But we know how good he is and how smart he is.
Steve, you talked about the spacing and how it helped you guys a little bit tonight. Steph had obviously took a lot of slack because Clay and Wiggs weren't shooting the ball very well. But how did he navigate that space so much better than they did in terms of just making it an efficient night for him while they struggled?
He's just Steph Curry. I mean, he's that good. I also think, you know, his approach to these games is he's going to go down swinging. He took 18 threes, so biggest number is the one turnover. So because he had space, he was able to attack and be really aggressive. Thank you.
Steve Kerr singing Klay Thompson's defensive praises, plus 30 on the afternoon. Let's hear from him.
Steve just credited you for your defense all afternoon and just sticking with it when your shot was maybe wanted it to be until it started falling down the stretch. I mean, how much energy does that take to just keep sticking with it?
I mean, I've been in this league long enough to know that if you don't have a great shooting night, you can do other things to impact the game. And I pride myself on being a basketball player and can always control your attitude and effort. And although I was 4 for 19, which is disgusting, a plus 30, I'll take that. That's better than last game, you know, minus 28. So I was thinking about that, and just being able to space the floor and take great looks, and, you know, they'll go in hopefully game 1 of the semis.
Clay, you guys allowed only 42 points in the second half. I think none in the first 3 or 4 minutes of the fourth quarter. What sort of triggered that? Because, I mean, as you know, you guys weren't great defensively on the road this year. Steve made the point that you're just different now with Wiggins back, Peyton obviously in the mix. But what in your mind sort of elevated your defense when it mattered most?
I think just attention to detail. I think we all limited them on the glass, spaced the floor really well. didn't let them get that out in transition like they have been previous games. And I got to give Kevon so much credit. I mean, his third 20-rebound-plus game of the series, and that just stifles a team when they can't get second-chance opportunities like they did previously. And just a group effort, but shout out to Steph. I mean, what an incredible all-time performance to go for 50 in a Game 7. That's it's just a joy to share the backcourt with him, and he never ceases to amaze me.
Hey, Clay. After winning games 5 and 7 here, how good does it feel to put to rest that this team can't win on the road?
Well, maybe this year was tough, but we've got guys who've been winning on the road for a decade now, and I mean, you can't buy into the narratives from the media because you got to really dig deep and believe you're capable of anything. And whether it's a one-road win or two-road wins, usually when you want to win a championship, you got to get one on the road or two at least. And for us, it was really about just relying on our experience and just being ready to match their physicality.
As someone who yourself has had just incredible shooting performances, high scoring nights, but has also played with Steph for over a decade, what is it like being next to him when he's in his zone, especially as someone who probably is familiar with that feeling?
Oh, wow. Thank you. That's the best. I mean, especially when you have an off night yourself or the team, no one really shot it particularly well except for Steph. And there's a reason he's a two-time MVP, a Finals MVP, is because he pushes us over the top in moments like this. And when he's in the zone like that, you try to just get him in his spots, get him the ball, get out the way. And gosh, what an incredible performance. This is a Game 7 I'll forever remember as the Steph Curry game, and he's just a joy to watch and play with. I mean, I really, truly enjoyed just, like I said, sharing the backcourt with him.
Hey, Clay, before this game, there was a lot of talk about championship DNA, and some people don't think that's a real thing, or they scoff at that term. Did we just see that in action?
Yeah, I mean, 50 points from our best player, holding them to 38% from the field, 26 from three. It sounds like championship DNA to me. And when you do it, 4 times, I would never doubt a champion, especially who's been there and done it routinely.
What kind of changed for you guys after halftime? You were down by 2, and then just really had an inspiring third quarter, rebounding wise and also scoring.
Steph got hot. We got a lot of good looks at the rim. We were getting to the free throw line consistently, and we limited their second chance opportunities. And although we were missing free throws, just the fact that we were being physical and getting to the line, it's demoralizing for a defense. And I think that ability just really spread them out afterwards.
I know you obviously haven't dug into the film, but Lakers quick turnaround Tuesday. Just early thoughts on that matchup overall and facing LeBron in another playoff series.
That's special. I mean, play LeBron in the finals 4 times. Obviously one of the greatest to ever play, and Anthony Davis is, right there as well. Played AD in the playoffs too, and they have. Watching that last series against Memphis, it looks like they're gelling and their guys know their roles, the other guys besides those 2, and it's going to be a huge challenge for us, but we're all excited to play the Lakers. I mean, it's a legendary franchise, and Warriors-Lakers, it's been a long time since they've seen each other in the playoffs, and I know I'm personally excited. I get to play in front of my father, my mother, some of my best friends, and go down to SoCal after our homestand, and it's just a dream come true. I've waited for this for 12 years.
Clay, you've mentioned it, Coach Kerr mentioned it. You guys have been doing this for a decade. And at the top of the game, what motivates you to keep going at the level that you keep going in?
You just want to look back on your career with no regrets. You want to look back and say you gave everything you had, and we just know how elusive it is to be in this position. And the Warriors were in somewhat of a drought before we got here. 40 years Oakland hadn't seen a championship, so to have another chance at one, it's special. I mean, when you can be a part of a dynasty and continue that run as long as you can. You will do everything in your willpower to help the team. And I know we all will continue to do that. And it's just a special opportunity right now for us to continue to try and win these hard playoff series.
Clay, what stands out to you just from coming here this series about the atmosphere inside this building in particular, and what's it say about Steph to have that performance in a Game 7 in that atmosphere that a lot of people think is one of the loudest in the league?
Well, I mean, Sacramento fans are great. Obviously don't like the obscenities they said to Draymond, but other than that, they were behind their team for 7 games, and especially those first 2 games, it was incredibly loud in here, and for Steph to do what he did tonight just shows what he's made of. I mean, he has nothing to prove anymore, but he continues to just take his game to another level, and we all will continue to follow him. And then on top of that, I just got to give Mike Brown and their coaching staff and their players a ton of credit. They pushed us to the brink. Mike B's got those guys playing incredible ball on both sides of the floor. And I know they have a bright future here. Their star players are very young. So I just know the Kings franchise in good hands with Mike Brown at the helm.
Clay, to that point, this is your 28th playoff series.
Mm-hmm.
And in that time, of course, the Kings franchise has not been. So for you guys, like, is this a memorable series when you talk about quality of play, opponent?
Absolutely. It's the first time I think we faced each other in the history of the game. So it doesn't matter if it's the first round. They were the 3 seed, we're the 6 seed. It was a tough battle. And, yeah, I'll remember this one for a long time. The travel was nice, you know, just having to go 80 minutes up the freeway. And it's cool to see another, great fan base just up the freeway. You kind of take that for granted sometimes that there's 2 fan bases, fighting for Northern California dominance. So it feels good to be on top this time around.
Before you bounce, who's Pops rooting for?
I don't know. I really don't know. If I had to guess, probably his employer. But I'm just excited I have so many great memories with him. Watching the Lakers, watching Kobe, watching Shaq and Pau and the rest of the gang. So I'm just really excited to stick it to the team or at least try to stick to the team that, I grew up rooting for.
Good after this win, 8 points on the night. Let's hear from him.
What's up, everybody?
Hey, Draymond, over here. What sort of sparked your defense in the second half? They only scored 42 points. I don't think they scored at all the first 3 or 4 minutes of the fourth quarter. And how much of that started with Kevon?
Everything started with Kevon. I think all series we've done a good job of defending in the half court. So number one, what sparked our defense is taking care of the ball, not turning the ball over, allowing them to get out in transition, and they had to play against our half court defense. For the most part, all series, our half court defense has been good, but we've given them transition opportunities and then also second chance points. So where it started with Loon, that was dominating the glass. Once we dominated the glass, then it allowed us to show how good our defense had been. And, once we did that, it allowed us to set our offense, get good offensive possessions, and we connected the game together. But Kevon Looney was huge. Andrew Wiggins, incredible defense. Everybody started boxing out. It was great. GP came off the bench. He was really into Malik Monk. And, we stuck with our game plan, and it ended up working for us.
Draymond, some people doubt if championship DNA is a real thing. Did we just see an example of it?
I think it's a real thing. Some people you just cut a little differently. You made it a little differently, and then you talk about that DNA, that experience. We leaned into that today, but you got to give those guys a lot of credit. Starting with the head of the snake, Mike Brown, to come to an organization that hasn't seen the playoffs in 16 years and put the team together or bring the team together the way he did is absolutely incredible. So you give Mike Brown credit. De'Aaron Fox being the head of the snake from a player perspective, led his guys, tough player. One of the futures of this league. And,
this won't be the last we see of Fox. This won't be the last we see of the Kings. They're headed in the right direction, and you got to give them a lot of credit. So it was, I'm honored to have played in that series, to play in this hostile environment. The fans were incredible. As I continue to progress in my career, you appreciate these moments. You appreciate fan bases like this, loud before the game, loud when the game starts, loud after the game. You have a strong appreciation for environments like this. So I'm very thankful to have played in this series. It was a fun one for us.
Draymond, Steph is the first player to ever drop 50 in a Game 7. Can you sense when he's going to have a big game and lock in and really kind of will you guys in a way that he did tonight?
Yeah, I knew he'd be locked in. When you have an opportunity like tonight, Game 7, we haven't had this opportunity many times. I think this was our 5th one. We played over 30 series, and this is our 5th Game 7, so they're rare. When you have rare situations, rare players do rare things, and Steph Curry was that tonight. He was absolutely amazing. He controlled the tempo of the game. He controlled the pace. No turnovers. I think he had 1 turnover the entire game. He had the ball the whole game. You can tell when he's locked in and he's laser focused, there's not many defenses in the world that can stop him.
Hey, Draymond. You and Darren had a nice smack talk going throughout this entire series. And after the game, you guys had a nice moment together. If you don't mind sharing what you said to him in that moment.
Just pay my respect. I've been in a lot of playoff series against a lot of different guys. And if I'm honest, you leave most with less respect for a lot of guys. Whether it's, how they act in the moment, how they step up to the pressure. I've lost a lot of respect for guys over the years in the playoffs. And then there are some that you gain respect for. There are some that you see and they're cut from that same cloth you feel like you're cut from. And Fox is one of those guys. And so I just paid my respect, man. Hard-fought battle. Obviously, he's on the wrong end of it. We've been there before. Like, I've been to a Game 7 and lost in the first round. That was my second year in the league. We did that against the Clippers. And it's a part of it. You have to go through that to ultimately reach where you want to go. And so I was really just showing my love and respect for him as a competitor. I was honored to compete against him today, or this series.
German, you kind of alluded to my question when you were answering Maddie's. You guys have played in, this is your 5th Game 7. All of them are pretty famous now. The Clippers won, to Cleveland, beating OKC, and then against the Rockets. Where does this fall just in levels of gratification, watching what Steph did? Clay said that this is the Steph Curry game of Game 7.
Yeah. When you're in the moment of something, that's always going to feel bigger, I think. And so being in this moment right now, this feels like the biggest one. Quite frankly, the performance Steph put on, you look at all the things that we've gone through this year as a team. To win Game 5 here and then go home and lay an egg, to then come back here on the road and have to do it all over again and do it even better than you did it in Game 5, which was very impressive. I think that speaks, that speaks volumes. Now, you talk about the last dance, the this, the that, and that takes things up another couple notches, So this one definitely feels special, to watch Steph have the game that he had, total domination. Those are the moments that, I'm a basketball fan. As a fan, you can appreciate. As a teammate, that's the guy you want to go to war with, those guys, not just Steph, the guys that that's the guys you want to go to war with, but the way he performed, man, he left no doubt. And I think that's a beautiful thing. We always talk about Game 7 and, how big that is in sports. And to see a GOAT leave no doubt, it's absolutely incredible.
Very quick turnaround for Tuesday night. Just early thoughts on the series against the Lakers.
Totally different team. than they've been the last couple years. Since they've made those trades at the deadline, they've been an incredible team. I think they finished this regular season 20-9. LeBron is playing more off the ball than he ever has in his career, which is, I applaud. It's hard for a guy like that to make that transition, and he's seamlessly done it. And it's helped their team. Not that LeBron on the ball is a problem, but it's just allowed other guys to do more. So they're playing with confidence. Austin Reeves is playing with a ton of confidence. He's playing great basketball. Rui Hachimura is playing with a ton of confidence. AD is obviously AD. LeBron's LeBron. D'Lo has got it going those last couple games over the course of their last series. They have a bench, so it'll be a tough series. But that's what you expect as you move forward in the playoffs. But we're going up against a very good team. Looking forward to getting our game plan tomorrow, whatever that's going to be, and then, starting to put it to work on Tuesday. But it's a quick turnaround, so maximizing your recovery is important for us.
Draymond, of course, you guys, you got the first 2 games at home, though. But we talked to Steve earlier about, the regular season record, which he said, it shouldn't even be talked about. And you have won your last 2 road wins in the playoffs, both here in this building. Just wanted to get your commentary on, how you guys are playing and want to continue playing on the road.
Yeah. What was our regular season record overall? Anybody? Yeah. What about our overall record? 40, 44, 38. Yeah, who cares? Regular season is regular season. It is what it is. We had our struggles. We don't make much of it. We didn't come into this series like, man, we haven't won on the road. We came into this series like we need to win 1 on the road, whatever that is. If that's game 1, 2, 5, or 7, we need to do it. We did it. Put ourselves in a position to only have to do it once and then let it slip at home and had to come do it again. But at no point was our mindset like, man, you think we can win on the road? Like, we know what we're made of. We know what it takes to win in these type of environments, in these situations, and we lean on that.
Draymond, you mentioned the last dance without getting into any of that stuff in terms of the future. There is a sense that, it seems like the rest of the league's kind of trying to turn the page on all of you guys, right? The Warriors, LeBron, like every time I'm down there, we ask him, how are you still doing this at 38? Like, and now it's you 2 guys again. How are you guys still in this position, and especially against him?
Well, I think number one, you're talking about some of the ultimate competitors. LeBron is one of the ultimate competitors. Steph, Clay, myself, Loon, ultimate competitors. And so to have these opportunities, we don't take for granted. I think, who you are as a professional show during these times. Here we are. 8 years later from the first time we met in a playoff series and still playing at that level. That's special. It says a lot. It says a lot about who you are as a pro and how serious you take this, how you appreciate this game. And I know I speak for all the guys I just mentioned when I say the appreciation for the game and for the stage, for the lights. Like, I was talking on my podcast the other day after Game 5, I think it was. Just like that feeling that you get playing in these type of environments like that, it can't be replicated. It's like it's goosebumps, man. Like this is what you prepare for these moments. And this series against the Lakers is going to be epic. You got Steph, you got Bron doing it all over again. We've never played against the Lakers in a playoff series. We get to experience that. It's a ton of little things going on, but what I will say is stop trying to turn the page on us so fast. Stop trying to turn the page on Bron so fast. We get so caught up in what's the next thing that we don't appreciate the current. And then you get to the next thing and looking back like, man, I wish we still had that. I wish we could still see this. So for me and our guys, we're going to appreciate this every step of the way and continue to appreciate it, but also put ourselves in the best position we can to be successful. And you go from there and you live with those results, knowing that the work has already been put in. Yes, you have to continue to prepare day in and day out, but the work has been put in, and that's why we're here. You continue to rely on that and lean on it.
Draymond, what do you make of Steph when he starts sort of interacting with the crowd and saying things to the crowd and motioning to the crowd? You mentioned the atmosphere here. What's it take for a star player to have that type of performance and that type of atmosphere?
Just laser focused. He knew everything that he wanted to get to versus their defense, and he got to it. He actually missed a couple of shots that he probably would love to get back and still had the night that he had. But it takes a special person to show up in an environment like that and do what Steph did. That's why you get paid the big bucks. That's why you are who you are. That's why he's top 75 greatest players and 2-time MVP. That's why, because no matter what the environment is, you show up in a major way and you carry whatever it is that you have to carry. We're all lucky that we're living during a time where we get to experience and appreciate some of the greatest sports ever played, some of the greatest matchups the world has ever seen. I have a strong appreciation for it as a competitor. I have a strong appreciation for it as a fan.
Draymond, you guys faced a lot of adversity this series. You got suspended. What did you learn about yourself and your teammates?
I learned nothing about me. I'm pretty in tune with myself. And every team is different, every team, yes, some of the pieces are the same, but every team is different. And I think in that game 3, we really learned how to stick together, how to band together around something, one thing, and push forward. And I thought that was huge for this group. Like you said, it's a group who's faced a lot of adversity. But you only face a real adversity when you are expected to do great things. There were a ton of teams this year with more adversity than us, but no one expects them to do anything, so then you just don't talk about it. We enjoy that pressure. We enjoy those lights. You appreciate it. I told the guys before the game tonight, we've put ourselves in a position to play in one of the highest pressure situations that you can be in. Embrace it, and that's how we try to attack every day.
Draymond, it's rare that you face a team that wants to play as fast, if not faster than you. It looked like a couple times tonight.
Monk said we was old.
Looked like a couple times tonight you had the opportunity to run, and you maybe slowed down a little bit. It looked like sometimes when you closed out, you took a couple take fouls, kind of slow the game down. Was that part of the game plan, to slow down a little bit?
I didn't necessarily take a take foul to close out and slow them down. You take the foul so they don't get in the paint and then kick out to the other side. Now you get Herter shooting it, you get Murray shooting it, you get all of those guys shooting it. And so I think, being a little more strategic about how they're getting into our paint and what that causes. And then as far as slowing it down on an offensive end, when you see something that works, you'd be a fool not to stick with it. And, when Steph gets the ball and he slow it down, he's trying to get to something. And every time we did it, we got to what we wanted to get to. And so we ran when the opportunity was there. But, if it's not there, let's slow it down and get a great look, the looks that we know we can get to, and that was good for us.
Steph Curry with a 50-piece, most ever in a Game 7 in NBA history.
Steph, congratulations on the win tonight and on 50 points. Historic. You keep making history in these games. What went through your head at the start of this game, knowing that you were going to have a loud crowd to do the game that you did tonight?
This has been it was a really fun series. It was tough from game 1 to game 7, and it was, kind of a vibe of different adjustments from game to game. And based on how game 6 went, we knew that they were probably going to stick to the same kind of formula, playing mostly small, different rotations. And that allowed us to kind of go back to the drawing board on how we wanted to attack their defense and keep the game as simple as possible and to the pace that we like it. And that was a lot of pick and roll, a lot of just organized offense that gave us a good start. We got some good looks to to open up the game, and that allowed us to connect our offense and defense together. We say that a lot, and that's a big part of who we are and how we were successful. So for me, it was just about being aggressive in that scheme and being as consistent as possible. And obviously, I got up 38 shots for a reason because, you know, we started to see where the holes were, and I could be ultra aggressive to get looks, and it worked.
Steph, in the first half, you missed the 2 free throws back to back, and the next couple times you went to the free throw line, the cameras were on you. It looked like you were smiling, almost, you know, beaming, I guess you could say. But what was that about? Why, you know?
Attitude can manifest a lot of things, and I told Q on the sidelines I've missed 4 or 5 free throws the last 2 games. Not like me, but never overthink it. Just enjoy the moment. So the smile was intentional on trying to just be in the present, and as simple as it is, just trying to make a free throw. So I like to have fun with it.
Steph, Draymond just referred to Malik Monk, saying you guys were old, and might have been referenced in other places. How much motivation do you get out of that? How much is this team that's been together for so long has won so much just trying to kind of fight back people saying it's over for you guys?
I think the competitive spirit's always in us, and we didn't need any sound bites to motivate us, but it did help to know, you know, they thought they had something in the sense of the pace that, you know, they tried to get the game to in Game 6, and, you know, that was a talking point for them. But at the end of the day, we knew who we are, and, you know, these last 36 hours to regroup and try to figure out, you know, what our adjustments are going to be and how we wanted to come out. We had a great talk yesterday and a great film session, and, you know, there's still nerves and anxiousness and, you know, anticipating a big night. But when we get out there, our experience took over and felt pretty comfortable from the jump. So it was a great experience.
Steph, it looked like late in the game in particular, you had some things to say to the crowd, and you even motioned, looked like you were lighting the beam. Just what goes through your head in moments like that?
I mean, it's just the playoffs. Like, there's so much built into a series, especially when you go 7 games and, you know, the fans get into it, and especially, you know, Bay Area, NorCal kind of situation, their first time in the playoffs in a long time. So you just get, you know, all that stuff kind of comes out when you get the job done. Sometimes you're on the wrong end of it. Sometimes, you know, we had a lot of experience of winning series, so you just let all that out. It's this is hard. Like, this is winning at this level. There's a lot of narratives and, you know, commentary throughout, you know, game to game, and you're trying to block it all out and just focus on basketball. But at the end of it, you know, there's fun with it too.
Steph, right here. So obviously you just carried the team. You got 50 points, and the Draymond just called you dominate again. So who can stop Steph Curry?
Hopefully we'll never find out.
For the question, how does the NBA champion DNA make this team special and to handle the Game 7?
You can always go into the memory bank of, you know, how you feel in these type of environments. Because like I said, there's still nerves and butterflies because it matters. And, you know, we love this atmosphere, and we've been doing it for a very long time. So once the ball drops, like, it's just playing basketball at the end of the day. And I think I said that after Game 6, like, you focus on the details of how you're trying to execute. You trust each other, everybody that's out there on the floor. We had great energy off our bench. You know, everybody who played came in with the right intentions. There's a lot of conversation and communication and togetherness on the bench, which is huge for us. And everything was connected. So when that happens and then you're on the court and you have clarity of what you're trying to do, you know, good things usually happen. And it was a great time to kind of put it all together on the road in Game 7.
Any early thoughts on Lakers series and just how schematically different you expect that to be?
Yeah, they're totally different. The Kings present a lot of different challenges. We know Bron really well. Played him a couple times, I think, since the trade, and they look extremely different. So I know they're playing good basketball, and it's weird, a 6-7 seed series. We get home court advantage, so we got to take advantage of that. But they're big, and we got to be able to have everybody, locked in on our preparation over the next 48 hours. And even if guys didn't get much run in this series, that's the nature of the playoffs. Move on to a different team, a different style. Everybody's got to be ready to make those adjustments on the fly.
Stephen, for someone over here to your right, for someone who appreciates the history of the game, you're going to take on LeBron, the Lakers, for the first time in this run. How much do you relish the moments of taking on LeBron again and taking on the Lakers in this next round of the playoffs?
It's amazing because you're still in the fight. It's better than the alternative of on the outside looking in, and having been down 0-2 in this series, like nothing's guaranteed. You don't take anything for granted, and it is special to know. From the first series we played him in Cleveland, 14-15 or 14-15 season to now. We're blessed to be playing at this level still, and excited about a new chapter. Two teams trying to keep your season alive and chase a championship, and that's what it's all about.
Hey, Steph, when you see your team playing the shutdown defense that it did in that second half, how much more does your confidence grow in being able to seize the opportunity and take over a game like you did today?
I mean, that's how you win. At this level, is the offense is flashy, and especially the way that we play, you kind of have that high octane offense. But for us, our calling card has usually been our defense, and you can start to feel the momentum stay on your side, even if shots aren't falling, because you can put 2-3 stops together in a row and kind of take the momentum away from a team that kind of thrives, especially when you're not turning the ball over. Like, that's a huge part for us. And in this series, we lost most games when we lost the possession battle. So, our offense was great, creating good shots, which didn't allow us to set up our defense, and we were able to keep the crowd out of it for a good portion of the game, which is huge on the road. So, probably our best performance of the series, and it was, great timing.
Steph, obviously there's no rival between the Kings and the Warriors, but Sacramento and the Bay Area has a little rival. Is that something that when you playing, you keep in the back of your head, like, as you playing?
Not so much that. It's just, within the playoff series, you hear from both fan bases for all type of different reasons, whether it's the geography, whether it's the podium game with people talking trash, or whatever it is, regular season kind of history. Every series is different. So, it's 2 series in a row we're playing California teams. It's kind of dope to know there is a little bit of history and connectivity within the different regions, but it doesn't really manifest itself in the way that we approach the game or anything like that.
Hi, Steph. I feel like we ask you about Looney every night, but he corrals these balls, and you might miss, or somebody might miss, and you get 2 or 3 more chances because of him. I mean, he was a key part of this series, as we all saw. What does that mean to you, to see the ball coming back at you after a miss and get another chance?
He makes his presence felt, and it's amazing. Another 20 rebound game. I think he's had 3 this series, and special the way that, again, he just, like you said, gives us extra possessions. We're not the biggest team, and so he he plays a lot larger than his size, and it's just awesome to know that over the last 2 years he's really created an identity of how he approaches games and how he helps us, and it's so valuable, to your point, because we take a lot of wild shots, and our skill set's on display a lot, but when he's doing what he did all series for us, it makes us that much better. And last year, when we won the championship, like, he was invaluable to that run, and hopefully, this performance continues.
Steph, yeah, we always talk about the wars and the battles that you, Clay, Draymond, Andre, have been going through in the last 10 years. But the admiral of that ship is Steve Kerr. Could you elaborate? Provide some commentary, on working with him these last few years, because he definitely had you guys prepared for Game 7.
I mean, there's a lot of trust in our staff, and obviously, Coach is a leader to put us in a position to be successful. It's not an easy job, especially when we have so much talent that we have, to try to find the right combinations and the right rotations and all that. But he has a lot of trust in us, what we see, what we feel, and our input, and vice versa. So you don't have the success that we've had over the last 9 years without that trust and collaboration. But him being a player and having played for the legends that he played for and the teammates that he played with and the championship experiences that he's had, he brings all that wisdom to not just the X's and O's, but keeping everybody on the same page on what we're trying to accomplish and how we need to go about our business. And he's done that from day one, so still doing it.
Steph, we've seen you do night and night, and now you're lighting the beam, and you've talked to fans a lot. How did you step up your trash talk game over the years, and where do you see it at right now?
I do it differently, I guess, just like trying to have fun, whether it's the crowd or weird mannerisms and all that. Sometimes it's choreographed, sometimes it's not, but I never take it too serious. But yeah, more that you're in this fight, the more you kind of embrace that part of it, I guess, just because you're defying the odds by still playing at this high of a level, and I know everybody wants to see you fail. That's kind of the nature of where we're at right now. So we love when we still can prove a lot of people wrong. It's part of our vibe now.